Hey everyone, it's Board Game Gran here, and today I'm doing something a little bit different for Chit Speak, my vlog. I'm going to look back at my top 10 most wanted games of last year to see if I got them this year. I know everybody's doing their top 10 games, but I wanted to do something a little bit different rather than just another top 10. Not there's anything wrong with top 10s, I love watching top 10s, but I thought as gamers perhaps we followed similar paths. So I would love for you to let me know in the comments whether you do what I have done or whether you ensure that you buy those 10 most anticipated games. Okay, so starting with Runestones here, which was on my top 10 Essen wants of last year, by Queen Games, a company that I really enjoy their stuff, and by Runestones, great designer. Did I end up buying Runestones despite how beautiful I thought it looked at the time? Still does. No, I didn't. And you know what? I have no excuses. I don't know why. I still love the look of it, and seeing it again now, it's got gems and I'm a sucker for gems, and I just don't know why this one did not hit my collection. Other games came out, I guess, and I just sort of forgot about it, which is such a shame. It just is such a beautiful looking thing. So that is Runestones. That's one out of my top 10 of last year that I didn't buy, didn't add to my collection. So next up from last year, we've got Fairon. Now the reason that this one didn't hit my collection is I contacted the publisher and they had no interest in selling it to me, which I thought was kind of strange, and I still think it's strange now that they didn't want to make some money. They didn't want to ship it outside of Europe, despite the fact I was going to pay shipping. Very odd. So that is why I do not own this one. I honestly think that out of all the games on here, this is the one that I want. Well, I wanted to buy it enough to contact the publisher, and I was unable to get it. Just completely bizarre, but look at it. It's beautiful. It's got this rondelle. It's got the ancient Egyptian theme, which I love. But no, it's not in my collection. That is Fairon from Catch Up Games. So that's another one not in my collection. Next up, we've got Yukon Airways. And this was one of two seaplane games that I had, or plane games that I had on my list last year. And I still love it now. And guess what? I bought this about 2 weeks ago. So it has actually hit my collection. And what's not to love? Look at the dice. And let me show you the awesome dials and things that the players use, because that is what sold this game to me when I saw it. Well, that and the lovely story that went along with the developer, whose father or grandfather actually does fly a seaplane delivering things. These little dials here is what really sold it to me. I love the idea that you can move them, you know, to change, show you what your player's up to. Great stuff. So I'm really glad that I bought that one. I do have that one in my collection. So that's one that made it. Here we go. I'm still surprised when I looked back at this top 10 and that I didn't buy this one. Deep Blue from Days of Wonder. I'm a huge fan of Days of Wonder. They do just schmick, I think it was a word that I used in the other video. Schmick stuff. It just always looks so nice. Beautiful art, beautiful components, everything about Days of Wonder. Usually they are a publisher that if they release something, I will just buy it without even giving it a thought. But I have been burned a couple of times. But Deep Blue never made it into my collection this year, which is just so bizarre. I think if I saw it, I would still buy it. If I saw it on sale, I would still buy it. But other games came along that obviously tickled me more this year. I have bought quite a lot of games this year, and Deep Blue was not one of them, which is just so strange. But maybe you do that too. I would love to know in the comments. Look at these smiling guys. Yeah, Deep Blue from Days of Wonder. Top 10 last year, top 10 most anticipated games of Essen, not in my collection. Next up, we've got Cosmic Colonies, and this is by Scott Almes. So great designer. You know, I'm a big fan, and I think what happened here is I actually deleted my entire Board Game Geek collection that had my wish list in there, and I think this just got lost within that, because as soon as I saw it on the video, checking back what I actually wanted last year, I was like, oh no, I remember that one. That looked really cool, and I still think it looks cool. It's Polyominoes, which I'm a huge fan of. I like the space theme, and just everything about it grabs me. I'm just stunned that this one is not in my collection this year. It just completely went out of my mind. So that's another one that I didn't get, Cosmic Colonies. Speaking of great designers, we've got Martin Wallace with Nanty Narking, another game that I ended up not buying. Now, there is a reason for this, however. I saw this in my local game store. I like to buy from a brick and mortar store now and again. And I went in there and I saw it sitting there and I was like, oh yes, oh my lord, how much was it? I don't remember now, but I remember thinking at the time, holy cow, that can't be right. So it was the price that put me off this one. But I still, looking at it now, I still think it looks absolutely stunning. It's set in Victorian London. The components and the artwork, look at the artwork. It's just stunning. It just didn't make the cut. I don't know what happened. The price is what happened. I don't know whether it's come down in price. I would definitely be interested to check that because I still think it's beautiful when I'm looking at it now. But yeah, that's another one. Most anticipated games, and I do not own it. Nanty Narking from Martin Wallace. Here we've got Garam or Garam, which is a game about making fish sauce. And yes, it was on my most anticipated Essen releases last year. And on seeing it again now, yeah, I still want it. And I actually have this on back order, the place that I usually buy online. Don't have it in stock, so we'll see if it ever actually comes into stock. I still think it looks fantastic. I love the 3D board, and I just think it looks like a simple sort of family weight game. That there is Garam. Next up, we've got Freshwater Fly from Bellwether Games. I loved their other fishing game, Coldwater Crown, so that was why this was on my most anticipated list. Did I end up buying it? No, I did not end up buying it. And again, I don't know why. I'm assuming that other games came out that just took precedence over this one. I still love the look of it. I love the reel mechanism here, just a sort of a clever rondelle thing, and it looks beautiful. Their last game, Coldwater Crown, is a stunning little affair. Even if you don't like fishing and you see that one, give it a go, because honestly it's so nice, and I'm getting the feeling this would be the same. But again, it just slipped off the purchase list. And I've purchased plenty of games this year as well, so it's the most bizarre thing. But as I say, maybe you do that too. I'd love to hear in the comments whether this is just me or whether other people do this too. That's Freshwater Fly from Bellwether Games. Okay, so here we've got Chakra, which looks like a very lightweight little game, and I remember it being on my wants list, and this is the only game now looking back where I don't think I'd bother, not unless I saw it like super duper cheap or something. I think I was just sucked into this one by how beautiful it looked. Look at that artwork. It's a stunning little thing, you have to admit. Just gorgeous. And I thought it might be a sort of a nice chill sort of game to play. And it came with gems as well, and I am a sucker for gems. If I see gems in a game, I'm like, ooh, what's this? So this is the only game on my most anticipated of last year that is no longer of any real interest to me. That is Chakra. And last but not least, we've got Wayfinders from Pandasaurus Games. Oh, that's when before their logo changed. I'm a fan of Pandasaurus. I think they make great quality stuff, and I actually bought this one. So this is one that made it into my collection. But not only did it make it into my collection this year, it made it out of my collection. I played it a few times and gave it away. So spread the love of the game. Not a bad game, just not a game that I could see myself playing over and over again. So I thought someone else may as well get the joy out of it. I still think it's a lovely looking thing. Nice design, beautiful components, just not a game that I would play overly. So there's one that actually made it into my collection, but also out of my collection. Okay, so that's my Essen top most anticipated games of last year, and despite the fact that I've probably bought, I don't know, 15 games this year, maybe even more, only one of them made it onto my shelf and I've played it, which is that one there, Wayfinders. One of them I've got on back order, that just hasn't come into stock, and one of them I actually have in shrink. I haven't opened it yet. And the other 7, who knows what happened there? Do you do that yourself? Do you make these top 10 lists and you think these are the best things ever, and then as the year progresses, other games come out and you are more drawn to them, so you purchase those games? I think that's what happened to me this year. Despite 2020 being a fairly awful year socially, it's been a pretty great year for board game releases, and I think that's what happened there. I just purchased things that have come out since I made this list. Right, let me know in the comments if you also do this, or whether you think it's strange not to have made sure to purchase those before perhaps purchasing something else. I'd love to know. And I hate to ask, guys, I really hate to ask. Oh, it pains me. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. I do some nice little upgrades. I think they're pretty cool and useful anyway. I'm hoping that you do as well. I do some arty stuff as well, making meeples and things. I'm going to do videos, unboxings and impressions and feelings about certain games as well. So join me on that little journey, and I would like to wish anyone who celebrates season a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you once all that is over and done with some no doubt new board games. I know that I'm getting at least one board game for Christmas this year, so that's great. And yes, it's on my wants list. That's it. Most important thing of all, take care of you, and I'll see you on the next one.